Time for another video. And man, you know, as I get older, man, I started thinking about how a lot of black people behave, man. Really Fuller talks about it, but he don't really go into depth about the nuances of how black people behave in the system of white supremacy. And a lot of that observation, for me, I just started listening to, like, you know, Breakfast Club, you know, hearing how the black folks talk, just different radio spaces, man, different talk shows, you know, YouTube shows, and it's like black people still don't get it, man. Like, we'll be on these programs and we'll be talking, man, we'll be trying to come from a place of neutral reality. It's like, man, don't you Negroes get it, man? Like, what are you doing, man? You know, always criticizing black people, but you don't criticize white people. Like, man, is anybody really paying attention, man, to this racial thing? Now you got something going around in white circles called black fatigue and all this stuff. White people act like they're tired of black people and all this stuff. Now they're tired of us resisting, man. They want us to just lay down, man. Just lay down. Tired of this fighting, man. Tired of resisting. Tired of this resisting, man. Why don't y'all just give up? No, we ain't gonna give up. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. I don't like this lot in life, man. Who the hell are y'all, man? Y'all, are y'all even human? Maybe y'all are human. Maybe we not human. Maybe we something better. Born into this world, man. Who the hell said y'all should be in charge? Man, y'all in charge right now. For now. I don't want to be up under y'all yoke forever, man. I don't want my legacy, lineage to be under y'all yoke forever, man. I'm tired of being held back. I'm tired of my potential. I'm tired of other black people's potential being held back by you people, man. By you white people. So, Nearly Fuller, you say you can't blame all white people. That's true. But you can, me, I say it's 99.99% of them who are white supremacists. The rest are babies and mentally disabled white people who are not white supremacists. Or children who are still too young. Like all adults and adolescents and youth and old folk, white supremacists, man. Back to what I was talking about, man, what I was really going into, which was black folks, man. We try to normalize this system. Y'all phony and fake, man. Some of y'all might be thinking, man, you can't be radicalized. It's not radicalized, man. Y'all some jokes, man. Y'all supposed to be serious. All of us are supposed to be serious. We at the very least, to speak to each other full honesty about white supremacy, man. But here it is. We'll be talking to each other like as if we white supremacists doing the talking to each other, man. Something's wrong with that, man. And the thing is, I get it. You know, as I be sitting in the car with white folks, you kind of don't want to rock the boat. And someone try to bring up race discussions, I'm kind of sidestep it. But they know, man. They know where to go for the most part so far. So that's the thing. A lot of white people, man, they know what kind of black person you are just by talking to you. They know you know. So I try to be diplomatic, but in the same time, my mind won't let me forget who I'm talking to. That's what I said in another video. Sometimes cracker race through my mind. Just flashes like an impulse. So I won't forget. It's my mind telling me, it's me telling me not to forget who I'm talking to, no matter how friendly the conversation is. That's just the way it gotta be, man. But a lot of black people, a lot of you black people try to forget that. And you can't try to forget, but you can't really allow yourself to forget, man. See, well, I live in this nice neighborhood, live in a posh lifestyle. You know, I feel like I'm being a bad guy, or I'm being full of negativity if I think about white supremacy and racism. When we say white supremacy, man, it just means their belief system. You can say, well, they're not supreme physically, human for human, they're not. But their position, their authority in the world, they defeated our ancestors, man. Some would say that's fair and square. Yeah, but you didn't stump us out, so we're gonna keep resisting. But here's the thing, man. Like, let's say back during, when they was white folks gathering slaves, who's to say they didn't just get women and children? They would be the easiest to snatch up. No, they could have had trouble with the men. Think about why would they want to get the men? You say, well, they able-bodied, but it take a lot of energy to break men. If anything, you would want to get some adolescents. They can pick cotton. You can still teach them. They're still teachable. You're dealing with wild men who are used to being free. A lot of them were probably warriors. You know, or they could have gradually fused them into slavery, brought the Bible to them, and got them all soft, and start putting them to work slowly but surely, and then just start getting more and more brutal, seeing that they was accepting of it. And I'm just saying, man, a lot of our ancestors were just stolen women and children, man. Like, people like to say, well, Kanye would say slavery is a choice. He can say that, but he's speaking from the point of the warrior nature. Like, we could have fought to the death. Yeah, but would a woman and a child fight to the death, man? That's all you really need to do is create a whole generation of slaves to just take the women and children, man. There's little resistance, man. Just rear them up on a plantation, then the babies come after that. That's all they know, and so on and so on. See, we like to be hard on ourselves and say, man, we were just defeated, man. They just took our warrior class out, man. They didn't really have to do that at all, man. You ever think about that? You can start your own slave plantation. Just go to some primitive village, just take the women and the children. Young women, young children, little kids. You got the patience. Rear them all up under brutal conditions. Then their children, that's all they would know, slavery. There you go, a whole generations, ancestral slaves, little effort. Just saying, man, we give these white folks too much credit, man. Like all this stuff, you got white supremacists online talking about what they've invented, what they've done. Most of them haven't done shit. Other small percentages of white people contributed to all this technology. Like I said before, man, genius intellect is not common. It's not among the masses. That's why these college institutions, tongue-tied, MIT and all these places, they just scout these individuals out. Don't get it twisted. It's not just about getting a superior education. These places are scouting institutions, man. That's why you have some human beings, they just naturally gifted at art, drawing, sculpting. You didn't really have to train them much. It was already heading in that direction. And then you just push them over the edge with more information, more training, and they just start coming up with miraculous things. Same way with scientists, man. Don't believe all the scientists is white who are inventing things, man. We have black scientists in these labs with genius intellect coming up with all these ideas. You see all these white people building things, controlling machinery, and then you think we can't do it. Say, well, the machines these white people are controlling, they didn't build that. They don't know how to build those things. You just see them doing it. Somebody taught it to them. The smart ones, a small percentage, told them what to do with it. Say, this is how you do it. We need this, this, and this done. Can you construct it? All this knowledge is compartmentalized. Don't think for 1 minute the white people are doing this all at once. All these things have been honed and perfected over decades, man. Just look at the cars, man. Look at the video games we played, man. This stuff had a process, man. It's not overnight. I'm talking to you black people. Don't let white people, racist white people, think we can't do this stuff too, man. Yeah, it's technologically advanced. We look at the machines. You go on YouTube and see these highly sophisticated machines cutting and constructing things. You know, you see all these conveyor belt, you know, all these chip bags and cans being rolled and controlled and wrapped, packaged, cut. Man, it's some very sophisticated stuff. Yeah, but it was a process, man. It took a while for it to get to this point, man. And in a relatively short amount of time, if you think about it. So yeah, they like a lot of white people, racist white folks, they like to talk about they didn't take it from Africa, even though we was here. A lot of us was already in the U.S. I'm just saying. They say if we didn't come to Africa to do this or that, y'all would have still been doing this, living in huts and tents. Y'all would have still been privileged. Not necessarily. See, it's easy to say that, but seeing the end results of what they've done. A lot of Africa is still primitive because they kept black people primitive, man. See, the thing with knowledge is it's supposed to be shared, man. And that's the thing. A lot of the knowledge white people got, it was handed to them. You know, they stole a lot of it. They shared it amongst each other with other non-black nations, man. They shared it, man. If you keep people out the knowledge loop, they'll be at a certain level. They'll eventually get to an advanced state. It'll take a very long time, man. People got to have an incentive to start thinking outside the box, man. That's why you had them people on North Sentinel Island. They're very primitive. They've been that way for thousands of years. They had no incentive to do anything different than make bows and arrows. But it's interesting how a lot of primitive people seem to have the bow and arrow. Why that's such a common weapon? It's not really it's primitive, but it takes a certain understanding to even make a bow and arrow, man. A projectile weapon. Say if I use this string, it'll have a spring effect and project this spear-like part onto my enemies or to an animal. You still take a certain intelligence to even come up with a bow and arrow, man. But yeah, that's the beginning stages of thinking outside the box. But the thing is, we gotta have an incentive, man. But in Africa's case, that continent, black folks, their development been stifled, man. You know, you keep them out the knowledge loop. And why would they teach the Africans any kind of knowledge? I'm talking about the white supremacists and Arabs and all these people, and the Asians. unless they want to work for them. They won't share no discoveries or nothing. And any kind of knowledge that they had, the Africans had, institutions been destroyed. And a lot of Africans, they don't pass things down. They don't have recordable media, man. See, that's another thing with the strength of the white race. They figured out that paper and pen and books and scrolls as an effective way to record information. But even that, they gotta still go over and copy, or they had to copy from the stuff they wrote down, because the medium it'll get damaged over time. That's why a lot of Egyptians, their knowledge survived, man. They put that written that stuff in stone. But that's the key right there, because human beings forget we can't maintain all the knowledge. We gotta just pass down knowledge, man. Well, now we got the knowledge. That's why FBA over here in America, that's why we was able to build and do what white people do. I'm talking about the Tulsas and all these other predominantly black enclaves that we built without white hands, without white help. We had the money, bought their resources, but we was able to do what they do, build like they build. You don't think we can do that, black people? Build like they build. We see these rockets and stuff. Oh, this is some advanced technology. I don't think it's that advanced, but that's neither here nor there. You see some airplanes, but we can't do that. We can do all that stuff, man. That's why, for one reason, the primary reason, that's why a lot of white people, supremacists, whatever you want to call them, they go out of their way to shut us down, in particular, foundational black Americans. So they know what we're capable of. They know we have the knowledge and we have that mindset to where we can build. In history, they seen what we can do, man. Think about all them banks we built, schools. You think we had white hands in there helping us build these things? It was against us, man. Building houses, adding the plumbing, the electricity. You don't think black people was capable of paving streets with concrete, with a professional look, to make it look official, like what we see white folks doing? Quote unquote official. You don't think we can do that? You don't think we can be in labs coming up with cures for diseases? See, that's another thing where white people went wrong, man. They exposed us to knowledge. Now they're complaining about us being woke. If black people was inferior, inherently inferior, we wouldn't be able to do those things. And a lot of that judgment about how inferior black people is, or they're going based on primitive black people around the world. You can say, well, white people have taught us things. Yeah, but you can't teach a monkey these things. If we are so inferior, how come we can add to the knowledge, to the technology? We can add to it and improve upon it. Inferior beings can't do stuff like that. Why? Because they're inferior. Oh, so we a little bit of what they say, 3/5 of a human being. So that's between like a chimpanzee and a human. A 3/5 thinking human being. That kind of mind is still too inferior. Just really ponder a 3/5. I'm talking about mental capacity of a human being. So what would they do? What would be their highest level of intelligence they can achieve? Damn sure can't be no surgeons, right? Brain surgeons, heart surgeons. How could they do that? They 3/5 intelligent of a human being. That's between a primate That's probably the best way to look at it. Between a chimpanzee and a human, the smartest chimp and the smartest human. But that's hard to quantify. Just say regular human, regular chimp. 3/5. What level is that? Can we kind of imagine that? Is that like a toddler level or baby level? Right, we can use non-adult children to kind of get the idea of the intellect of a 3/5 thinking human being. Because really, a human being, the true form of a human being is the adult form. Our adult form is our true selves. This is the end result. The child, the only reason why we go through the child phase is to fit through the womb. That's the process to being born, to fit through, a small orifice. Even creatures that lay eggs, the eggs got to be small enough. That's the whole point of the child phase. That's not the true human being. So we can say a child, what, a 11-year-old, is that the 3/5 of a human being, intellect-wise? You say it's some smart children. Yeah, but when you're an adult, it's a certain kind of understanding you get. Your mind is still evolving. There's a certain level of understanding. That's why you hear adults say you'll get it when you're older. That's true. And now it even start clicking with me. It's not that the knowledge, you get the knowledge early on, but it doesn't marinate correctly until you're at a certain age, because your mind is still developing. Like, oh, it's like an epiphany. Oh, I finally get it. And that when you finally get it, your behavior start changing. See, when you first hear the knowledge in your youth, you would change your behavior, but it's artificial. It's not genuine. You're trying to change because you heard something says you should be a certain way. But when you get it in your older age, your mature age, it marinates, and your behavior just automatically, now that's what you're doing. When I was younger, I used to joke, talk about people, they call it capping. When I got older, it's natural for me not to do it no more. Why? Because it don't make sense to do it. See, but you'll have some kids, I remember back in the day, they'd be trying to act like they was mature, and they wouldn't be laughing and all that. But it was an act. It wasn't really who they were. Because you give them another scenario, they be doing it. But I'm like this all the time. And that's why older people thinking you kind of bitter or mean, or you're a mood killer. No, that's real maturity. But you don't have to act mature. It's just in you. The understanding set in you. So we can go back to that 3/5 of a human being. Or that human being be playing with toys. Toys is fun. They wouldn't care about a lot of stuff. They wouldn't be worried about how to build these advanced technological things. So that's a lie. Human beings black people is above 3/5. If you want to get greatest on a child scale, because that's the intelligence really between an adult human and an adult chimpanzee, a child. See how we just debunked that right there? Black people 3/5, really? Between a chimp and a human. So even adult black people have child intellect, huh? Let me get back to the later, to be continued.